So we have arrived here at the sunset of our course, week 10. I just want to tell you it's been a really pleasure to work with you here and to be able to provide this. I think of it like this course is sort of running a program. We put you through this process. We start at the very beginning looking at, choosing a design site, the very beginning looking at the watershed context, trying to figure out where you are with the sectors, the site analysis, and then we build the various layers on of water and soils, plants, talk about community, we talk about different particular climate-specific strategies. And then week 10, this is the place where it's the culmination of all your work. This is basically why we did the course. So you could be at this place with your final design, and you could take all of your previous work and tie it in to a package that becomes really a comprehensive portfolio. So in essence, this is we are putting a call out to you, a challenge to show us what you've learned. Now, the us is not just your instructors, and the us is not just your fellow students, but you are going to end up showing your family and your community what you've learned. Many of you who are designing your own homes, and your client is yourself, but your client is also the other people that may live with you. And if you're designing something for someone else, you may actually have clients or a public space, right? So this is your opportunity to really shine and show people what you've gotten out of this investment of your time and your resources. So the final design project really has a sequencing itself that makes a lot of sense. And it starts with the mission statement and goals. This is where you really articulate exactly what it is that you are trying to accomplish with this design. Next is to revisit the site analysis process. Now, if you are going to present your final design as a comprehensive portfolio, this would be a place to just put in your site analysis. Now, again, like I said in week 7, here I am back in week 10, now you're 10 weeks wiser than when you first did your site analysis. So you may find that you have further insights that you would like to articulate in your final design. How did your site analysis inform your design? That's one of the main pieces of this entire class, is to do a site analysis and then have it inform your design. So if you can articulate how that happened, then that really helps everybody who's going to look at your design. And remember, I just want to revisit something I brought up when we did the base map, is your design needs to be comprehensible by other people. So you're doing it for yourself, but in the context of this course, you want it to be legible and you want it to be readable and comprehensible by people other than yourselves. So after your site analysis process, then you actually do your conceptual design plan. Now, your conceptual design plan is the map. Again, this may be a culmination of some of the graphic abilities that you may have acquired through the course of this, all the different assignments as well, right? So your conceptual design plan is usually some sort of beautiful representation of what it is that you want to communicate. Now, we see the conceptual design plan, but then we want to know what the phase planning is that will actually get the plan done. So essentially with the phase planning, you're reflecting on the past while planning for the future and living for the present. So when I draw a design myself, I actually like to draw it at about 50 years, because 50 years is when I can draw a tree at its full maturity. And when I put in trees, I like to think about how they're going to look when they're actually mature. Because if you don't do that, I mean, like you can go around the world and, you know, in your own communities and go to places and you can see where things were planted. A tree, for example, was planted in a thoughtful way for its full maturity. And oftentimes trees that were not planned for what they would look like at their full maturity end up getting cut down because they end up being a problem because it wasn't planned well. So I would say really think through. I'm just going to write to think about that 50-year mark when planning some of your vegetation. Or at least just think about a plant at maturity and how big is it at maturity. So beyond the phase planning, the next sort of piece of reality is to think about budget. Now, we don't ask you in the assignment list to provide a budget, but I want to put this in here because this is part of the process. And if you are able to add something budgetarily to your final design, that really helps, because our hope is that these design plans are then actualized by you and put in the ground, and they actually become living permaculture plans. That's actually the whole point for me in doing this, in teaching, is to have permaculture systems put into place. So we help walk you through, in this class, walk you through the conceptual process of creating your final design. But our greatest hope is it's not just a design exercise, it's actually the first step in putting your permaculture plan in effect, because if we don't actually put these things in the ground, we're not going to get the personal and then global ecological benefits of having permaculture, right? Make where you live a paradise. So the culmination of your design project is where we want you to then reflect and show us how you used the 12 David Holmgren permaculture principles, how you use that in your design. And then you can check how you use your permaculture principles. You can check back in with your mission statement and goals and see if you accomplish your mission statement and your goals with the way that you used your permaculture principles. All right, so this is the culmination and the summary of the entire course. And we've spiraled through a lot of information in this course. And now we are asking you to go and make where you live a paradise. Make where you live a paradise and you will benefit the web of life, right? So thank you so much for coming along with us in this course. And I look forward to seeing how you take this final design here and you turn it into your own permaculture paradise out there in the world. And you help yourself and your family and your community and the entire world. So thank you very much for joining us at this course. It's been a pleasure.